Welcome to Session 8 of the BizMin course, Profiting Through Purpose. We've covered a lot of ground, but the time has now come to turn our attention to the essential subject of money, or more specifically, profit. Every business needs to engage positively with profit. If an organisation does not profit, it will soon forfeit the right to be in business, and with that, the right to be in ministry. If we're to remain in business for long, we must develop a mature attitude to money and the pursuit of profit. In this session, we will explore a biblical approach to profit through purpose. The church often has a very negative view of money and by association profit. A charity I once worked for would always use the word surplus instead of the word profit whenever it came to discussing the accounts. I guess it somehow sounded less negative. Sadly, they nearly always ran at a loss. The key principle we are focusing on in this session is that a kingdom business focuses on the pursuit of a God-given purpose, whereas many business plans focus on profit, as if that pursuit is the only goal. What we've discovered, however, is it's not the best way to prosper over the long term. The Bible encourages us to focus our attention on doing the good we ought to do, as it says in James, or to seek first his kingdom and his righteousness. And when we do, we have to trust that our financial needs will be met as well. Running a business will really put whether we believe that to the test. Now, we need to define what we mean by profit. This session explores the idea of a multiple bottom line approach that looks beyond monetary returns to a much broader, more purposeful definition of success. As we start to measure our impact across multiple bottom lines, we begin to see just how much more we're achieving. This is not at the expense of financial returns. It's just a matter of priorities. It is just a better way of revealing all the good work that we're engaged in, and in that, the true impact of our business and, of course, the impact of our ministry. An example was a year where we had below average financial returns. On the surface, we were disappointed, but we began to look across those multiple bottom lines and to map our impact and to see the range of things that we'd been able to achieve that year. Our team had grown. We'd become more competent. We had won some really significant commissions that really did align with our values and opened up exciting opportunities to work in new sectors. Our reputation and, importantly, our Christian witness had had some significant opportunities to be noted and to be observed outside of just our own small organisation. And we were basically seeing a growing influence of our company in our sector. There was a great deal to be grateful for. As it happens, the following year was actually one of our most financially profitable as well. These things ebb and flow in business. What's important is that we're measuring our purpose ahead of worrying about our profit. We were learning to turn our focus onto purpose. And in this session, you'll hear about some great examples of people who've discovered how to do that. But you know, every successful business will ultimately make money, quite often more money than you have ever asked for or imagined. How we handle that money will say a huge amount about our priorities and where our security lies. My experience is that those who honour God in the area of finances, God honours. You know, some years ago, we had a cash flow situation in our business. And as was my custom, I took the situation to God in prayer. He led me to read Malachi chapter 3, and it's the passage where he talks about tithing. It's an amazing passage. God directly challenges us to test him and promises that three things will occur. They seem to me to specifically address particularly two of the problems that we were facing: bad debt and inefficiency that was resulting in even our best efforts being unprofitable. I decided that we would seek to be obedient, and I took the matter to my team and asked whether they agreed that we should tithe the last year's profits. I was delighted that they agreed, and we decided to do something about it and find out how much we ought to be paying. The process of finalising our accounts took some weeks, and we kind of forgot the commitment we made. But a few weeks later, I was reminded again, and we wrote the cheques and posted them off to the various charities that we decided to commit to. But you know what? Something truly amazing happened that day. A letter had arrived in the post that morning. In it was a cheque from one of our historic clients for an invoice that they hadn't paid some 3 years previous. We'd long since written that off as bad debt. We had never chased them, or we certainly hadn't chased them for several years. It was an amazing thing to see God's timing. That cheque had gone in the post before we'd even written the cheques. You know, we should never doubt that God is looking after us. And this was not a standalone occasion. These things have happened several times over the years. You know, when we honour God and we seek to obey His word, He's faithful. The purpose of our profits is ultimately God's purposes. It is a huge privilege to be able to give money away, and a successful business can enable a lot of giving. I remember well, actually, the year that my company was able to tithe more than I did. It is what we call power giving. Few things keep our priorities right and ensure we stay focused on God's purposes as much as our attitude to profit. It's so important we get that right. I hope this session will encourage you to profit through purpose and enjoy being extravagantly generous with all that you receive.